Where's Nosferatu?
Well, here we are, my friends, the end of 2024. Now, I have seen 53 movies in the theaters this year, which averages out to a little bit more than one a week, which is a bit crazy, I'll admit. Now, my 53rd film was Nosferatu. Now, let's be honest, I've seen some clunkers recently, and 2024 wasn't exactly the strongest year for cinema. However, if you go back 1 year, the final movie that I saw in 2023, Godzilla Minus One, turned out to be my favorite movie of that year. So what do we have here? Is 2024 going to go out with a bang, ending with a hit, and one of the best films of the year? Or will it be another clinker, ending this year with a splat? Well, before we answer that, let's talk a little bit about the plot for the movie Nosferatu.
Okay, let's chat.
Seeking companionship, a young Ellen prays for any spirit to bring her love, only for that prayer to be answered with a nightmare, as she is attacked by a beastly visitor, causing her to have seizures. We then fast forward to 1838, where we find adult Ellen living in the town of Whisper, Germany, with her husband Thomas. Thomas is an estate agent. Hoping to gain more financial security, Thomas accepts a commission from his employer, Herr Knock, to sell a old, decrepit, haunted-looking, stately home in Westboro to the reclusive and eccentric Count Olor. However, when Thomas meets the Count, he gets the sense of dread, as the Count is not what he seems to be. When the Count sees a photo of Ellen in a locket that Thomas has, he decides that he must take her as his own. He leaves Thomas for dead and travels across the continent back to Whisper, leaving a trail of death and destruction behind him. Now, a desperate Thomas and his friends Friedrich and Anna, along with the mysterious Dr. von Franz, attempt to stop Olor before he takes Ellen and kills all who stand in his way.
That was scary.
So what works in this film? Well, the acting is absolutely amazing across the board. Bill Skarsgård is positively creepy as Olor, and Lily Rose Depp absolutely shines as the haunted Ellen. She gives a terrifying and commanding performance. But it's Nicholas Hoult that steals the show as Thomas. I've really enjoyed him over the years, and he has definitely grown to prominence as an actor. His ability to convey fear and dread through the film is spectacular. We also get great performances from Aaron Taylor Johnson and Emma Corrin as Frederick and Anna Harding, and William Dafoe. He's great in everything he's in. He's fantastic as Dr. von Franz. The cinematography in this film is just a sight to behold. This is directed by Robert Eggers, who gave us The Northman, The Lighthouse, and The Witch over the last several years. This movie really shows him at the top of the heap when it comes to creating strong, atmospheric, moving imagery and brilliant cinematography. The set pieces look absolutely authentic. And the horror, it's not your typical jump scare or gore, but rather a growing sense of dread throughout the film. Edgar just masterfully creates his vision. He does a wonderful job blending elements of horror, folklore, and mythology. I don't think it's a stretch to call him the best director in horror today.
The best, Jerry.
And despite its 2-hour and 12-minute runtime, it never felt too long, and it really doesn't overstay its welcome. Here again, Edgar does a wonderful job of pacing. The movie always keeps your interest, always keeps your eye on the screen.
I can't take my eyes off of it. It's gorgeous.
What doesn't work in this film is much like Robert Eggers' other movies. It's a real slow burn. Now again, it's not overstaying its welcome at the runtime. It's just, rather than give you that quick adrenaline burst, it's really slow and steady, which isn't going to appeal to everyone. And while Skarsgård does an excellent job playing Olor, the character himself, and I mean the creature, with all the makeup on. I don't know, I wasn't really scared by it. When you see it initially, it's in the shadows, which is creepy, but when you finally do see it in the light of day, so to speak, it's more campy than scary. And finally, there are times when the soundtrack of the film seems to overwhelm the scene. It's like the movie is already creepy enough, and I get that the soundtrack is trying to drive that home, but for me it was just a bit much at times. But by no means does that take away from this film. This is an excellent film, made by an auteur horror filmmaker, led by an incredible cast of performers who all shined. So deliberately paced but consistently unsettling, it sidesteps jump scares and supernatural tropes in favor of slow-burning dread. Robert Eggers creates a triumphant cinematic experience in Nosferatu with immaculate cinematography, exceptional performances, inescapable dread, and nightmarish terror. So to answer our initial question, much like 2024 is going out with a bang, giving us one of the best films of the year on its final weekend.
That's fantastic!
Well, that's it for me this week. Tune in next week where I give you my top 10 movies of 2024. Should be a fun and interesting list. In the meantime, click that like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a question, share this video with friends and enemies alike, and as always, thank you for giving me your valuable time, and I'll see you next week. Take care.